Welcome, folks. We'll get underway shortly, just waiting for people to come in, just getting their internet connectivity catching up. And so it's great to have you here for our Teen Entrepreneur Masterclass, young entrepreneurs making a difference and leading the way. So I'm Karen Bonatto, and I'm the leader of the Young Entrepreneur Academy. And I have Angie with me, and Angie is the co-founder and the leader of Genius School. And I'll just share screen here so that you can see we're all in the right space. So this is Angie and myself, and we're involved in the work with young people and with parents and with educators with the Genius School. So it's great to have you joining us for this particular broadcast. What we're going to cover in this session is the importance of developing entrepreneurial skills, particularly at a young age, so that this is something that will carry our young people through, particularly in our current contemporary environment, so they do have that lifelong success. We'll look at a different approach to how young people need to learn, particularly to develop that entrepreneurial mindset. And we'll look at the strategies for how to learn, how to develop that mindset. And there are three key components to this that are involved in developing that. The very first one is self-awareness. The next one is self-expression. And the last one is self-mastery. And each of those stages build on each other, so that what happens is by the time our young people get to the point of self-mastery, they are really starting to understand what it is to apply their new skills and their new learning to different environments to help solve, actually find the problems and make those solutions for people so that they can develop their own business. And then we'll talk about Genius School and how our approach to helping young people to develop these entrepreneurial skills. But first of all, I just want to give you a little bit of background to the Genius School. Genius School focuses on providing a personalised learning pathway that's child-centred. So a little bit different to the traditional schooling system, because we're focusing on not telling kids what to learn, but we're actually providing them with the skills and the scaffolding to help them to learn how to learn. And by doing this, we're igniting the natural genius within young people. Every young person, in fact, everybody is born with a natural genius within them, and we need to work out how to nurture that and to help young people to learn. And so also creating that self-aware lifelong learning, because this is something that's going to be needed and with us for a long time into the future, and how to empower our future leaders, particularly through these entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurial mindset. And then we're all involved in this day and age in learning and creating and earning together. So this is our focus with Genius School. Often I get asked, why do you call it Genius School? Well, we need to go back to the origins of the word genius, because over the years, we've kind of put a different twist on it. And when we say genius, people think that we're talking about someone who is gifted and talented or is a protege. But if we go back to the origins of the word genius, it starts way back in the ancient Roman times, when it is believed that everybody was born with this unique inner strength and inner personality that is there as their natural dispositions for how they approach life. And everybody is unique. We might say some people are similar, but everybody is unique. So it's that inborn dispositions, talents, and that actual nature and natural capabilities of the individual. So that's where we come from with the word genius. And what we're wanting to do is just kind of ignite that genius and then amplify it through the programs that we have on offer. So a big problem that we've got facing our young people today is the whole youth unemployment situation. And it is a concern because this graph you're probably finding a little bit hard to see. So let me go to the actual web page where this is, because this will put it into a bigger screen for you. And what we've got here is we've got, in some countries, the youth unemployment is as high as 47%. If I hover over this, it'll give us the number there. And for that particular country, that's women. And these are people who are 15 to 24. So they're classified as unemployed because they haven't got work, or they're indicated that they're looking for work. So if you want to, I'll put this in the chat later, so you've got the link, but also you'll get access to the slides so that you can go back and have a look at this. But it's certainly startling to see, and this is contemporary. This is in the last month, between the last 4 weeks that they capture this data. So it's constantly updated by this particular service. So if I look at my own country here in Australia, it's sitting at 12%, nearly 13% for male, and nearly 9% for female. Now, I know within my own country that is double, at least double, if not triple, the rate for adult unemployment. So this for me is a big concern, and it should be a concern for you if you're here as a parent, or if you're even here as a young person. You might be identifying with this. You may be in a situation where you have even qualifications, but you find that you can't get work. And so what I don't think is added in here is that concept of underemployment, which means someone has certain skills and capabilities or higher education qualifications, but they're not working at that particular level. So this is a major concern for what we're finding here in our world today. And the interesting thing is, over the years, it's been identified the type of job clusters or industries where the opportunities are for young people. And I'm just going to pop this up. And Angie, if you just give me a thumbs up that you can see that, great, thank you. So this actually was captured in 2017, so a few years ago. And what they did, they analysed all the job advertisements that were available for young people and clustered them into what they classified as growth areas, and also areas where there was this decrease in employment opportunities. So if you can see here down the bottom, this is what we call the carers. So these are people who are in mental and physical health and well-being. So they're providing medical services, care services, personal support. Now, very interesting, in our current climate with the pandemic, we're probably seeing an increase of growth in this area as well. But in 2017, it was a growth area happening then. The next area is the work that's involved where it's using technology. So it might be manipulation of data, or the analysis of data, or the gathering information, or building programs, apps, and all those sorts of things. So that's a growth sector. This middle sector here is what they call the informers, and that's the jobs that involve people in professional services, education, business services. And then we have the designers. So that comes around into the STEM, the science, technology, mathematics, engineering. So that's that area. And the areas that are starting to drop off are ones that really are being impacted by automation. In other words, a lot of these services can be managed by automation, robotics, or even artificial intelligence. And so those are lower skill areas, but they're the ones that are decreasing. And then just to add to that, this is a report that has been developed recently by the McKinsey Group, and they are researchers, and they go out and do a lot of analysis of data trends. So in this one here, this is what they're saying is the post-pandemic scenario for shifting of jobs. And interestingly, we see that the same type of industries are considered to be increasing or growth industries, and the industries that are decreasing are ones that are impacted by automation, even the aging population, increased technology, all those sorts of things. So we're seeing here that there are patterns and trends that we can tap into to start to alert us to say, hey, what are we doing here to make sure that we're helping young people to develop that entrepreneurial mindset, and also those skills and aptitudes to be able to venture into that environment. The problem is we don't have an education system that is currently really robust enough to support this skill development for our young people. And this particular white paper talks about the need for this change and this shift. And so what it does, it also identifies the different skills that are needed here, and also the learning environments. Now, you will get these slides, so you'll be able to go and have a look at this report yourself. But these are the things that we tap into as educators of young people. And we say, okay, how do we bring that all together to help them to develop their entrepreneurial skills and their mindset, and also to have then the success where they can thrive in that business world at a very young age. And what we find is that, as I said, the current educational systems that we have are focusing on other skills development that really aren't keeping up to speed and keeping up to pace with what we're wanting to do. For instance, the focus on standardized testing, and that is global. So every country around the world has some level of standardized testing, and that was set up at the time to look at increasing the outcomes and capabilities of students. But what's happening is it's no longer working. It's actually, people now are saying that standardized testing is creating this high stress level, anxiety. It's creating competitive amongst schools because they're all trying to be the best to attract people to enroll their children. So we're saying we need to move to a personalized learning approach. We also say that it needs to be life and leadership skills, where it's more about connecting kids in with real life, authentic experiences, rather than just purely focusing on academic or scholastic skill development. The other thing too is moving away from it being content, information, to getting kids to look at, well, how can what I learn be applied to have an impact on the world around me, whether it be my local community or whether it be at a global level. So setting them up in an environment where they're developing these entrepreneurial skills for their business that they develop, having an impact on the world around them by solving a problem, whether it has to be with climate change or inequality or whatever it is. It's that impact focus. And we then also align that with what we call challenge-based. So it's challenging them to think beyond just regurgitating facts. It's actually taking it to a higher level of, let's look at how we can apply a deeper level of thinking and understanding to then embrace a challenge and to solve that particular problem. So this is where we're making a difference in the way that we're delivering our curriculum and also our education. So one little success story that I want to share, and we've got Alex online with us as well. And so for Alex had a project that he had developed in relation to an idea for a business. And it was all about beehives, honey, and all those things. So for Alex joining us, at the time, Alex was 13. And so for him, his goal was to produce 100% raw and natural honey, but to do this from start to finish with the least interference to the bees and the honey. So being mindful of the environment. And so for Alex, it was life on the land, which is one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, was a focus that linked in and provided him with a purpose to shift his business idea to looking at that. It's really all about sustainability and also protecting the environment. And I think most of us would know that the bees are really crucial to the ecology that we have. So for the action plan, Alex kind of combined some unique attributes that he had about selling honey, but it was also to educate about bees and finances and mindset. So Alex, it's great to have you on the call. Would you like to share with us why you got involved in the Young Entrepreneur Academy?
Yeah, thanks, Karen. Well, I guess one of the first reasons for me to join the Young Entrepreneurs Academy was really because, well, I had a look at the Genius U logo and it was a brain. And obviously my 12-year-old logic went, well, if there's a business that put a brain as their logo, well, they must be pretty smart. And turns out it was pretty smart. And so what I really learned and what I really wanted to come away with it was really how to really economicalize my business and make my business more harmonize my business with, because I'm also in business with my siblings who are also co-founders with Bee Bath 3 Kids Honey, and I really wanted to learn to see how we could really work together as a team instead of individuals.
Great. So that was good. And I love the way that you brought in your brother and sister, and what I've got, Queen Bee and X-Man, I think are their names. Is that right?
Yeah, the Queen Bee and X-Man.
Yeah, that's great. So what was your biggest takeaway then from participating in the academy?
Yeah, well, I think it was definitely the promotion plan because I got heaps out of it and it really helped me plan for the future of how my business worked. And I think another one of the biggest takeaways was probably how to get that exposure because I know all these young entrepreneurs that come on with the same mindset, the same drive, you know, and some starting out, some that's been in business for a little while, you know, and that exposure can really help. So with me and Rich Kids Global, I got hooked in with Luke Mullins, another winner, and of the Genius U the YEA program, and that was really nice.
Yes, it is, and we'll share a little bit more about that later, as because this is the magic of what it is to bring like-minded young entrepreneurs together, is because it's the synergy that you create when you connect them with others. So, what makes your business unique then, as a young entrepreneur?
Well, really, Bebop is unique because it's a honey business that teaches kids education. So, through our experiences, say we might lose a bit of honey and it might spill on the floor, you know, and we'll teach these kids, you know, this happened, but this is how we're going to get back up. And so, what makes our business and me as a young entrepreneur, well, I believe a young entrepreneur or an entrepreneur in general has to be able to come back from those downfalls because business is really a roller coaster ride. You know, you'll have those ups and these downs, and every time you hit a down, you an entrepreneur has to have the skills and the tools to be able to bounce straight back up and keep on going instead of, you know, sticking down at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. That's magic. Words of wisdom coming from a young mind. Thank you. So, if you had to share one key thing with someone to say why they should be involved in the Young Entrepreneur Academy, what would you say?
Yeah, well, I would definitely say go for it because I mean, the Young Entrepreneur Academy has really helped me in business and building the drive to keep on going with business. And even for at that stage, you know, I didn't really think much about business. And I thought, you know, it'll be fun, I'll get some pocket money. But now that I've gone through Genius U, I now have the knowledge that, you know, these are the skills you can learn for life. Because most people, as Karen was talking about before with the unemployment rate. You know, you need to have these skills to go into life and be successful. And whatever successful looks like for you, either it's hitting goals, getting a dream house, getting a dream car, you know, it's really getting those skills to succeed.
Great. Thanks, Alex. Yeah. So if you can stay on a little bit longer and we'll talk about the synergy that you created with other young people from the Academy. So thanks very much. Isn't
Yeah,
that great
thank you.
to hear from Alex and really see the difference that happened for him when he joined us? Came on with an idea, and it was really great. We stay connected with our young people and we see their success and we love sharing their success. So we will often, as Alex said, promote them and give them opportunity to be seen in front of other people. So I just want to share with you sort of three key components for what you as a parent or as a young person, you need to start thinking about for you to not only learn the whole process of what it is to develop entrepreneurial skills, but to think about learning in itself, because we're all going to have that lifelong learning. We're going to have to stay in that space to continue to keep ourselves right up to speed, because the changes that happen in work environments in the world are constantly rapidly changing all the time. So the very first step is, first of all, being self-aware, really knowing who you really are. Who do you show up as? And often what happens with young people is we have others telling them what they're good at or what they should be doing or what type of work they should be involved in. But really, if we go back to our origin of the word genius, they have their own unique dispositions and capabilities. And so we need to make sure that they understand what their uniqueness is, what their natural strengths are, their talents, what they're capable of, and connecting in with that and helping them to understand what is going on. Whereas what we see happening in a traditional education system is that the reporting comes in and it really focuses on what they're not so good at. And it's saying what they need to improve. Whereas the strength comes from knowing what you're good at and then really ramping that up and leveraging that, because there's always someone else out there who can fill that gap of where your weaknesses might be. And so it's this whole thing about, first of all, know who you really are so that you can not only ignite your genius, but you can amplify it. You can really ramp it up. Because when you know how to learn at your best, you're able to then be in multiple environments and know you can apply those skills to learn even new things or to add to your existing knowledge. You can also identify your unique leadership capability. And in our working environment, being an entrepreneur, you do have to be that leader. And as Alex said, you'll have the ups and downs. So you need to know how to lead through the highs and lead through the lows and keep your team coming with you, and how to communicate effectively. And then, of course, with us, we're focusing on the combination of learning and earning. So we get you earning at your best. And the way that you can earn at your best is really tapping into what you're naturally capable of. Now, at Genius School, we have certain self-assessment tools that we have the young people take, and it's a multiple choice questionnaire. And so they get their own unique profile, which identifies their strengths, environments where they're really going to be able to succeed, even identifying what their weaknesses are, but focusing on the fact that don't focus on weaknesses, think about your strengths. So it's the team dynamics, talent dynamics for young people report. And what happens is each young person gets their report, and it identifies that they're either one of the 4 different genius smarts. So we've got this innovative smart, which is all about ideas. The magnifier is all about being out there and being the people person and connecting with the people. The one at the bottom here is what we call the tempo genius, or the senses smart genius. So using all of the senses to know how to be observant and look at the environment, know when things need to happen, know where they need to happen, knowing the best timing for things to take place. And then the one on here on the left is our steel energy, which is our detail smart. So that's someone who is really going to dig down deep into the steps that need to be taken, the things that need to be tweaked, and the processes that need to be in place. So each will show up as one of those energies, but they'll also, with their report, because it goes into more detail, will show up as one of the profiles. So here we've got Alex down here, who you've just heard from. And so Alex is what we call a deal maker. So he has a little bit of a combination of being people smart as well as senses smart in his business. And then he brings his siblings in, and I think his siblings are up here in the dynamo and the blaze. So it's a mixture of the different energies that you bring to the business, which means you can get smart at what you're doing because you're not just working as one individual. So all of these young people have been successful graduates from our program. And as you can see, we've got a vacancy here. So we're keen to find a mechanic to add to our particular cohort of students. Now, just talking about tapping into that talent, that natural talent, this is Lucas. Now, Lucas found out that he was dyslexic when he was about 7 years of age, and he decided that he wasn't going to let this become something that was going to be too much of a problem for him. And he really took what he was as showing up as someone who has dyslexia. And as he say here, it's a superpower to be creative. And what he did, he actually wrote a book, and it's all about a young person being bullied at school because of experiencing learning challenges, but how they could rise above it. And he says in his book that not all superheroes wear capes. And that's what he wanted to get across. He wanted to write something that was going to be suitable for young people to read who did have dyslexia, but also to help people to become more confident in themselves. And so the book, the font that he uses in the book is actually font that is suitable for people who have dyslexia. So it's got the right spacing, the right construction, which allows them to read. And as one of his reviewers said, it's a great read. For those with dyslexia, the font is especially chosen to make it easier. But for those without, don't worry, it's not distracting. And the person said, I had trouble putting the book down. So he was able to have his book, and this is all going to be part of his series about schoolyard superheroes. So that was Lucas, and he comes with a steel energy, so it's all the detail, and being a Lord is really focused on that kind of working in your own space, really getting focused in on the task and really making sure that you complete it through a very logical process in doing that. And so then he launched his book. So the next level that you really want to do is don't jump over that self-awareness. You do need to have that in place. The next part is about self-expression. So this is like Lucas, unlocking your creative superpowers. And the way that we focus on having young people developing this entrepreneurial mindset and skill is to first of all focus what you're good at. So that's the natural talents, capabilities, but then start to align it with what do you love doing? What are you most passionate about? What just brings a smile to your face? What makes your heart sing? What do you want to do where time is not a problem? You get so engrossed in it that before you know, it's kind of the mid-afternoon and you haven't really stopped doing what you love doing. So that's important, but then also aligning it with what the world needs. And this is where we get that whole connection together, which really makes it powerful. So this is amplifying the natural genius. And again, we have the different tools at Genius School. We look at the Ikigai score, and this is all designed to align all of this so that it's helping them to live a life with meaning and purpose and fulfillment. And so this is the Ikigai. So it comes from the Japanese concept of your reason for being. So it's all about aligning all of this. So this nice little sweet spot in the middle is where you've got all that connectivity to live this meaningful life. And so it's what you're good at. So that's our team dynamics that we do, which identifies that report. And then we have little exercises and activities to look at, well, what are you passionate about? What do you love doing? What are, say, your top 5 things that really ignite you and make you alive? And then what does the world need? So what are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that you can align with, because then you're contributing, you're acting local, but you're thinking global in what you're doing. And with our entrepreneur, it's what can you be paid for? So what can you do to bring all of that together so that you can be paid? So you're learning and you're earning and you're going to a deeper understanding of your own self. So as I said, the global goals are there. And the reason why we bring this in is because as a planet, we're all trying to aim towards achieving the targets by 2030. And for me, I believe that young people play a very strong role in this environment. So they're the ones who can step up and be a part of this. And that's why if we look at Alex back here, for his goal, it was life on the land, and definitely is associated with his connection with the bees and the honey. So this is, again, we have a little tool that we get them, a little Q&A that they go through, which identifies what is their top global goal. And then that is then aligned with how they develop. So that's a key area for what needs to happen. So an example of this, Benjamin was one of our graduates from the academy. And so Benjamin is a people smart and he is a star profile. So this means he is really very confident getting out there in front of people and speaking up and being a voice for the cause. And for him, his cause was the partnerships of the goals. And the way that he wanted to do that was by developing a podcasting service for young people to provide them with the opportunity to be a voice, to express their opinions and also their wisdom. So he's been hosting multiple podcasts, and you'll get the slides so you can check out his site to see, and you can also follow his podcast. But he's also stepped up and has developed summits where he is allowing the opportunity for young people to do this. They're educating others, they're entertaining others, they're also empowering the next generation of kids. So Benjamin is Kids CEO, and he is really strong in his environment, and he loves what he's doing. He really enjoys. In fact, when he was on the academy, he was with us for 4 weeks, and then he had to go back to school, and he was really sad because he had to spend so much time at school and less on his business. And he said, I really want to spend more time working in my business because it gives me a lot more satisfaction and joy. So a question I have for you, for those who are on the call and those who are listening to the recording, because you will get hold of this, is how well do you know your team's strengths, talents, and capabilities? Do you really, really know it, or are you involved in a guessing game? Do you think? Sometimes as parents, we get caught up in that we think our kids are a little mini me, or, you know, similar to us. And often we find that sometimes parents are really quite surprised when they read their teen or their young person's report. And so really, how well do you know this? I mean, and in fact, for a young person, if you're on the call, how well do you know your skills? And the other thing is, then this is the foundation before you can step up into this next area, which is using your creative superpowers. So how much do you align everything like this ikigai? How much do you know about what you love, and can you align it with what you're good at? How have you really thought about where you're going to be involved in contributing to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? And how smart are you at bringing all that together to work out what you can be paid? So these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. And importantly, we need to say, does a traditional education environment help my child to develop that? And if not, then it may be that you need to be kind of thinking, well, what are the opportunities out there that people can engage in? So just to give you an idea of a possible opportunity that we know has produced an amazing success for our young people. In fact, they actually step up and deliver and engage and get their business running very successfully, more so than what we see with some of the adults. So the Young Entrepreneur Academy is designed to develop their skills and their entrepreneurial mindset, and also give them training to build a fully functional business. Now, some young people come in and they already have a business idea, so we're helping them to develop that even further. We have others who come in and they're not quite sure, and so we spend time with them to work out aligning everything so that they've got their ikigai score. They've got that kind of sweet spot where they can bring everything together. And we often find that when they can connect with a purpose and a passion, that's when they discover their business opportunity. So we have two camps. We have a 10 to 13-year-old and a 14 to 18-year-old, and we're about to launch that and get it happening at the end of this month. So it is a virtual camp. It means they're connecting in for only 1 hour a day live with us on a Monday to Friday. And we have different time zones when we can connect kids in. And then they would spend about an hour offline doing activities after each session to be able to start to develop their business focus. So it's really an exciting and amazing time. And you've heard from Alex about the events that have happened there. So if you're interested, Angie's going to just pop a link in, and this is just really where you can book a free call to talk to somebody about what the possibilities are in being involved in the academy. But before we do go any further, I just want to do this next level. So we've been through the self-awareness, we've been through the self-expression. This is now taking it to a higher level, because you can learn lots of things. You can have lots of knowledge. You can watch lots of videos about what it is to be an entrepreneur. You can read lots of books. But unless you can apply all of this, you're really going to go nowhere. And so it's important that as our young people develop the different future-ready skills like critical creative thinking, communication, collaboration, presentation, digital literacy, all of these things, if they don't apply that to an authentic real-life experience, then it really doesn't have a lot of meaning. And in this current world, it's important for us to be constantly looking at how we're changing and shifting direction. And with that high level unemployment, it's crucial now for them to start thinking about how they can create a job because we're going to be moving into a space where for young people, it's all about sort of gig economy, or all about taking your portfolio of capabilities and strengths and talents to develop a job and a business for yourself. And then because we focus on a digital business, it allows our young people to shift and be flexible and responsive. Compared to a bricks and mortar, it's pretty hard to retweak things or tweak things in that environment, but it's far easier and less expensive to do it in a digital environment. So the tool that we use is a framework that provides this 90-day business development and promotion plan. And what's involved in that are these kind of levels of investigation and what they're engaged in with the activities, because each again builds on the other. That you're not going to have a business unless you really know your customer. You're not going to have a business unless you really know the problem of that person and your solution that you're going to create, and then creating this compelling offer so that it becomes so irresistible that it's like a no-brainer. People have to buy your product or your service or your program. And then looking at how you can add value, so you have a pathway for the customer so that you can build their trust and they can see that you're adding value and that you're helping them to solve their particular problem. And then the part about the team, building that team, making sure for our young people, we make sure they've got each representation of the different energies on their team. Otherwise, if you think about it, if they're all up with the ideas, they're going to constantly be churning ideas, but not getting any further about how to run their business or how to market their business or how to provide the customer service. And then we get them focusing on objectives, which is, I guess, another term for setting goals. And we have different levels of goal setting that we've got involved. An important part is measuring. So measuring everything about your business, not just measuring your money, but also measuring a lot of other aspects of the business as well. And then setting up milestones and celebrating when you've achieved certain stages of the milestones. And so one of our young graduates is Luke, and he is a great example. I mean, Alex has really done this as well, and he has his promotion business strategy in place for his Be Buff Honey for Kids, and Luke has his for his business, which is all about digital marketing. And so his goal was to help business owners who lack the time, knowledge, and patience to go online. In particular, those people who weren't really tech savvy. And at the time, Luke was really looking at people who, in the peak of the pandemic, who needed to shift their businesses online to be able to be supporting them to do that. And I love his catchphrase here that I put in bold, is we help you to stand out so you can be outstanding, expand your reach, and amplify your impact. And for him, he was focusing on a niche market, and that was the real estate industry, where people who were in real estate needed to move their presence into an online environment, but make it so that it was really impactful, that people could see what they were able to do. And for him, he has a number of different aspects about his business. And what he's done, he's brought in some of his family members as well, just like Alex did, to make his business a success. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stop sharing because I have to make sure that when I share this little video with Luke, that I have the audio sound. So let's make sure I'm back on the right screen here. And Angie, my co-pilot here, is going to give me the thumbs up that we got the right screen. No, not the right screen. So let me stop sharing again and make sure I've got the right one. Here we go. I'm pretty sure. Thumbs up, Angie. We on the right one? No.
Is it for the video, Karen? We're seeing the slides.
We're seeing the slides, so I'm just going to go to the video here. Okay, great. All right, thank you. Always good to have my co-pilots. So here's the video with Luke.
Hey, my name's Luke Mullins and I'm 15 years old.
What is the best thing that you learned or gained from YA?
Got a lot of counselling on my business, the ideas, and how to really get grounded in what I want to specialise in, who's my target audience, so I know exactly what I'm doing.
Tell me a bit about your business and what makes your business unique.
So my business is called redpixel.io, redpxl.io. And what we do here is we help businesses to get more customers every month with digital marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, and we're different from the rest because we have a guarantee of 1.5x return on investment or your money back, the service fee back.
What motivates you to be such a young entrepreneur?
Well, my dad kind of got me into the world of being an entrepreneur since I was 8 years old. I wanted to start a clothing line. I was 8 years old. It didn't go too well. I don't think I was quite mature enough. But I moved to Australia when I was 10 years old. And, you know, I still had the entrepreneurial spirit. And I love all the flashy things. I love cars, love watches. So I went into a watch shop one day. I was 11 and I was like, oh yeah, that's a Rolex Submariner, that's a Tag Heuer, Big Bang, whatever, that's a AP Royal Oak. And they're like, wow, you know all these watches, come work for us. So I worked for them. They sold watches worth £200,000 or like 150,000 US dollars, like really expensive watches. And I saw the kind of work ethic you needed and how these guys were making their money. And it really motivated me to want to start my own business.
And what's something about yourself that you think makes you a good entrepreneur?
I think because in the Genius U platform, my profile, I'm a star. So I think I'm naturally confident. And I think that really helps me, like jumping on interviews just like this or just questionnaires. I feel really natural. And I think that's really good trait to have as an entrepreneur.
What advice would you give someone who is trying to become a young entrepreneur like yourself?
You know, everyone says hard work, you know, work hard. But before you work hard, you got to know what you need to work hard at. So I'd say join the Genius School, get your profile promotion plan done. And that will really show what you need to work hard at, because it's all well and good saying, oh, you need to work hard. Everyone knows that. But what you really need to work hard at is key.
All right. Thank you so much, Lou.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, so that's Luke, and also too, Vanessa was interviewing Luke, and Vanessa is also one of our graduates. So we try to get them involved in the things that we do. But with Luke there, as you can say, you can work hard, but if you don't know what you need to work hard at to be successful, to be a young entrepreneur, then it's just going to be hard work. So, you know, some thoughts here for you is, well, how well developed are the future ready skills of your child? Or if you're a young person listening to this, do you know what your future ready skills are and how well you've got those developed to be able to create your own business? Or even do you know how to create a business? And then also really working towards creating a job rather than getting a job. Because as I said, we go back to those unemployment figures, and then there's that underemployment component, which is certainly pretty scary to see that that's the level that we're working at in our world today, that we've got young people who cannot get a job, but if they can create a job, and you can see here from Luke and Alex and a number of our other young people that we could bring in at a very young age, like at 10 years of age. In fact, we had a 9-year-old rather, who came in and joined us, and she developed her own business over that 4 weeks. And it was a simple business. It was a soap making business, but she was really passionate about it. Her purpose was life on the land. She was concerned about the insect ecology, that the different things that we're using to, you know, hair shampoo, things that we use to wash our hands, or even anything. She was concerned that some of the products that we're using are not really environmentally friendly. So her goal was to develop soaps that were sustainable and organic. And by the end of the 4 weeks, she already had her products. She was already sharing with us the different types of soaps she was creating. And then about a month or so ago, she got in contact with us and said that, you know, she'd created her first €100. So even as a 9-year-old, it's really great to see that. And the whole thing is, those foundation skills are developed now with Isa, and she can keep going and excelling. And they were always there to support them through their whole process. So just to give you a little bit of outline in more detail of what's involved here, we have the sessions, so that's 1 hour a week. And just to give you an idea, these are our folk that we bring in. Angie and I are there. We're entrepreneurs. We have our own businesses, so we're there sharing our story. But we also bring in other people who are successful in finance, in vision creation, in identifying your customer, knowing how you have your customer pathway in place, how you're setting your goals and your objectives in your business, how you're using business tools to support you in the growth and development, how you're taking care of your own health and well-being, and then how you're setting up the rhythm of maintaining that momentum in your business. So we have mentors coming in, but then we also have facilitators that are there. So we have a smaller group basis, particularly when we have our implementation Q&A sessions. And then we also have bonus sessions for the parents and the caregivers or those who are supporting this young person. And that's on a Monday, we have those. And that is designed to help you to understand what we're doing and how we're going to be helping you to support your child through the process. There's also a number of other things that we add in that add more value. So the Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind, that happens once a month. And that's when the leader and founder of the Genius Group, Roger James Hamilton, is interviewing people who are in business, who've been successful, and they share all these gems and strategies and magic moments about how they run business. So that is kind of adding value then for our young entrepreneurs. And as I said before, there's the reports, and we have a report that's available for the parent as well. So normally it's the 3,997. But we're offering this very special opportunity here at a 997 to come in and be involved. So it's 1 hour a week on Monday to Friday, sometimes with mentors on the Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And then on the Thursday, it's with the personal facilitators. So, and that time is really about helping the young person to kind of unpack the things that they've learned during the mentoring program to then looking at how they apply it to the development of their business. So there's different learning outcomes that are involved in the academy. Future visioning is one of them. So it's going beyond the goal setting. It's really stepping up. Like you heard Luke and even Alex saying, you want that car or you want that dream house or whatever. Well, it's setting that vision. So it's kind of setting something out there that you start to work towards because you know this is what you want to achieve. And then setting up the business, knowing about the finances, looking at the different strategies that you're going to do to help you grow your business and get it out there, making sure that you're problem solving, that your product is meeting the needs of your customer, not just creating a product for the product's sake, but looking at making sure that you're solving someone's problem. And then team building, making sure that you've got the best team, and how we have a special formula that we use that helps them to identify their best team makeup. There's different business models out there. They get to understand that, so they can say, what is my best business model that I can use, that I will really feel that I can really throw my energy and efforts into to be able to make that global impact in what I'm doing. Looking at the trust and value pathway, that really, if you want your customer to come on board with you, they have to be able to trust you and have a relationship with you to be able to do that. And as I said, with a lot of our young people, they will actually start earning even during that 4 weeks. Those kids who really play full on, they will actually start earning from their experience. And then the last part is about the predictable and productive rhythm. And we teach them about the fact is, and Alex alluded to this, you're going to have these up and down moments, but it's a case of reflect on that, slow things down, think about what you're going to do, and then tweak things and then keep progressing forward. We also have a special extra bonus in that we have competition winners. So Alex and Luke were competition winners. So we have prizes and investments. So we invest in their business. So they were able to get some prize money and prizes for doing that as well. So this is the special offer we have, and it's available to any young person, or it's also, a parent, if you've got someone that you're wanting, your child or someone, or even if you're someone who has an interest in young people, you might want to invest on their behalf and get them involved. So it's 997. Now, to get access to that, it's best if you book a call, and it's a free call. It's about 35 to 40 minutes with one of our team. and they'll be able to answer your questions that you have, but you'll also be able to explore the opportunities of what's involved here. Now, often what happens is when we're running our academy, we have the parents joining in on the classes as well, and we don't have any problem with that. We're quite happy for the parents to be there because we know then that you're going to be supporting the young person in your life to help them to get ahead. Now, just to give some extra steps here, and this is where I'm going to bring Alex back in, that once you've been through those self-awareness and self-expression and self-mastery, it's then how do you take this to another level? And as I mentioned before, it's creating the rhythm of business. And so it is slowing down, reflecting on how things are going. And so that's why we have the 90-day plan, is that after a period of time, you need to be measuring what's working and what's not working and looking at how you can adjust things and adapt and continue to advance your business through that process. And then the part about celebrating, it's making sure that you're celebrating those milestones of achievement, recognizing the value of your team and celebrating with them as well, and then having that pride in everyone as they go. And so a magic thing that happens often with our academy is that we have young people connecting with each other, that because they're there, they're working at collaborating and supporting each other as we go through the 4 weeks. It's not just us working with them. They start to understand and support each other. And then also we have this connecting that goes ahead. And so with Alex and Luke and Ben, they connected up and they formed Rich Kids Global. So Alex, just how did Yay provide you with this opportunity?
Yeah, well, I think it was really Luke, and Luke was looking to start a new business project, and he started. I think he and his dad decided to make the decision. Well, if we're going to do this, I think we need a little bit of help. So he went out and he reached out to me, and Luke's dad, Rich Mullins, interviewed me. Had an interview about Bebop, and then we got onto a call to see each other after the YEA had finished, and it was really cool because a lot of our values kind of came together, and we really enjoyed the Genius U YEA course. And coming together, Luke and I started Rich Kids Global. Over time, we sort of developed it into an education business for kids to bring young mentors on, because I don't think we have the right experience to be teaching just yet. But we're bringing in young mentors from across the globe who can give kids their part of the story, and so kids can actually go onto our platform and watch all these different mentors and go, well, I like what this guy does, and I like what she does as well. I think I might take a bit of that and a bit of that to create their own unique personality in business. But not even just in business. We teach them mindset, the tools to get back up from those downfalls, and Rich Kids Global is there to help kids level up to success, is how we say.
Yeah. So the magic part is that the three of you met through the academy. And so it's the possibility that your next step up of developing that relationship with Ben and Luke didn't actually happen unless you were with the academy. And so you've developed those basic foundational skills through the academy to then step up and take things to another level. So it's really great that I can see that you're all managing your initial businesses that you started, but you've brought on this extra area of work that you're combining. So it's that synergy and that teamwork that brings all that in place. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So just going back, I think we'll just end with this, and then we'll see if there's any questions. And if you have any questions, please key them into the chat and we'll look at that. But this quote by John Dewey, I believe, is absolutely crucial right now. And John Dewey wrote this quite a while ago. And he said that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. And this is a focus that we really need to be looking at, developing the entrepreneurial spirit, but also the entrepreneurial skills of young people today, so that they can step up and they can develop these skills and take it to another level. As you've seen with our young entrepreneur graduates, they've taken that and they've developed their businesses even further, and then they've taken it, particularly Ben, Luke and Alex, they've taken it to another level to develop another layer to their business focus that they have. So I'm just going to check in to see whether there's any questions here. I'll just get the chat.
No question.
Okay, so there's no questions. So really the best thing for people to do, if you really want to find out more, is to use that link to book a call with one of our Genius Igniters and to ask them the questions, how it will particularly relate to your child, or if you're a young person listening to the recording, how it relates to you. So, you know, if you're wanting to even, if you have a basic idea that you want to start to develop, that we're there in the academy to support you to develop that idea. And so it's 4 weeks. It's only an hour commitment on the Monday to Friday, but we see a significant transformation in the young people who come and join us from day one right to the end. And we have a graduation day, and it's our day to celebrate their success. So the young people are there and they're creating what they want to learn and how they want to apply their skills. All we're doing is supporting their learning and being there as mentors to provide that kind of structure and support, knowing when to step in, knowing the questions to ask them to kind of just nudge them a little bit further along. So we'd love to have people join us for the academy, and we always love to showcase and celebrate the success of our graduates in that process. So thank you, Alex, for being with us, and thank you to those who've been here with us on the call, and particularly for those who are listening. Be in contact with us. We'd love to have the conversation to explore this with you further. So bye for now.
Thanks.
Thanks, Alex.